Hello again, Steve here, and today I wanted to give another thought on a possibility as to why Cardinal Ratzinger is no longer Pope, the once Pope Benedict. And, of course, the mainstream message, including from him, I think he's probably bought into it somehow. I mean, I don't know for sure, but who else doesn't really believe what we're told these days? Take everything with a pinch of salt, at least, eh? Yeah, so we're told that he basically wasn't up to the task. He wasn't up to the scandals that were going on. Some of them were being foisted upon him and so on. And he stepped aside, I guess, something like that. But when you read into it, when the people who've done the research, they see that there's been a long attempt to infiltrate and push the church more into the to the leftist communist realm kind of thing, right? And that's one take we could have, is that, you know, Francis is part of this cabal that has been working for many years to override the the traditions of the church kind of thing. Now, I'm sure there's lots of evidence for that, and there's a great argument, there's a strong argument for it, I would say. But what about also the other side of the equation, which is that Ratzinger was a German, and he was in the Hitler Youth, and maybe even the moderates within the church realized that there is a huge myth of German villainy. In fact, I believe there's a book written called that. And maybe it was just too much of a yoke to wear around their neck, so to speak, in times of trouble, that is, in the times of the foreshadowings of the Nazi propaganda that's going on, right? That everybody who's not liked is a Nazi, and basically Ratzinger wasn't liked, and it was pretty easy to say he was a Nazi because he was actually in the Nazi Youth and so on, and he was a conservative and a hardliner and so on, supposedly, although he wasn't completely. So maybe that's part of it as well. You know, it's sort of like a double-edged sword, right? You're getting pushed from one side and pulled from the other. You know, pulled towards communism and pushed away from Nazism, which is basically National Socialism, which is just a little less socialism because it's national rather than international. But that's probably a discussion for another time. So I don't know if anybody's thought about that before. Maybe somebody within the church said we can't have a German as a pope, especially a German who's somewhat conservative and who was actually in the Hitler Youth. So, you know, in spite of the fact that he probably had no choice whatsoever whether he was in the Hitler Youth or not, and all those sorts of things. I mean, facts don't really seem to matter in this day and age, do they? So maybe he bowed out, agreeing that that was a challenge, and of course he wouldn't be able to say the truth in spite of holy orders. Believe it. Imagine that, eh? A pope, of all things, not telling the truth. That would be shocking now, wouldn't it? Anyways, Steve here again. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.